Hello, and welcome to another version of Positive Impact for Mind and Body. I'm Nicole Fevrier Davis. How's it going? How's it going, all you crazy moms and dads out there picking up your kids from school or bringing them to camp, right? Isn't it camp season? I am Nicole, and I'm your psychic trainer. And I wanted to chat with you about creating your own highly customized, bespoke type of fitness or weight loss program. Now, you've seen all the ads and all the signs and do this diet, do that diet. Years ago it was Atkins and South Beach. Now it's, paleo and keto, and really anyone can throw any kind of a weight loss program at you, and it'll probably work for a little while, I'll say. But the reality is that they're not taking you into account. You're kind of like buying into something that the masses are buying into. It doesn't necessarily mean it is the right thing for you. So this is why I wanted to kind of cover these bases today. I was thinking a little bit about past guests and people I've talked to, and more recent clients who signed on doing my full assessment, and thinking about how many mistakes people have made over the years in terms of weight loss. So I wanted to just cover a couple of bases for you. If you get nothing out of this except to say that your plan should be different than everyone else's, then I'm happy about that. At least you acknowledge that, and your mind is going to start working on solutions to that problem. But I have, kind of been in the, I've said this millions of times. I've been in the business for 30 years. And in that time, I've seen everything from hyper fasting and girls passing out on gym floors to, the spin people who love to spin, all that. That's all they do. And they don't lose an ounce. So I've seen kind of like a lot going on. And I told you about the skinny fat people, and I told you about the obesely fit people. And I wanted to just clarify, there are some very hard and true steps that have always worked. And I go back to, remember when I was talking about Think and Grow Rich? It's ironic. I could have just pulled that book out for my behavior specialist certification and read that and got my behavior specialist certification that way. But basically it's the same rules. The same rules apply. And when you see the same rules apply in completely different areas of life, there's got to be something to that, right? There's got to be some valid and legitimate reason why that's a successful plan. So I'm bringing it to you now in a weight loss kind of frame of mind. So the first thing I like to do when I do a full assessment, let me just remind you, I do a little bit more than we're going to do here today. It's not the same exact thing, but it is very thorough. When I do a full assessment, I give a personality, a schema questionnaire. I do a metabolics questionnaire. I do a traditional PAR-Q health history questionnaire, as well as my psychic reading, my psychic take on what that person is experiencing and how it's affecting their metabolism. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to count on you to know yourself that well and be honest with yourself, okay? So one of the things that you want to do, even before you write the goal down, is take into account your personality. Where do you think you're blocking yourself in your personality? Are you entitled? Do you feel like you deserve that dinner out every night of the week? Or do you feel like maybe someone else deserves more of your time and attention than you do? You're self-sacrificing. You want to know who you are and be ready to address that in the plan, right? Because it's not just about diet and exercise. We already know that. So that's what you want to do, is take a personal inventory of who you are, and then we'll move from there. Your likes, your dislikes, your personality, your schemas, your little schemas there. Also, you want to take into account your health history. What did your grandma fight over, her weight? What was her biggest thing? Was it comfort food? Was it, not getting enough love and attention? Try to figure those little psychological cues out in advance. Because the deeper you go into a weight loss program, and I want to say that up front, I call it a weight loss program because that's what people are keyed into believing and thinking it is, but it's actually a change in lifestyle. So just make that little note too. You want to grab a piece of paper, you want to grab a pen, and you want to sit down with me right here and talk about your weight loss program. There are a couple of other things I'm going to mention towards the end of the podcast that I want you to take into consideration when you're creating a plan. The first thing, obviously, is what? The first thing is you got to have a goal, right? You want to have a specific goal. I'll start my assessments with someone saying, okay, what's your goal? And they'll say, I need to lose a few pounds. And, when you say that, your brain doesn't register. It's like this nebulous, kind of flexible thing. No, it has to be a solid number. You want to lose 30 pounds. You want to lose 15 pounds. You want to lose 8 pounds. Whatever it is, you're going to write that down. Just the same way we did with Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, right? So you're writing down that number, and it's going to be very specific. That's number one. So you write I want to lose 20 pounds, whatever it is. Then number two is, when are you going to do this? Is it going to happen in the next 3 weeks? It's going to happen in the next 3 months. Are you going to take a year? Because it's actually 40 pounds, and that's a lot to do in a month or two, right? So you have to kind of be realistic about your timeline. How long are you going to spend on this goal, focused on this goal? Now, the other piece of that timeline thought is that the longer usually you give yourself an opportunity to attain a goal, the better you get at attaining it. You know what I'm saying? So I know, like, the cruise is coming up in 3 weeks and you're desperate to lose 15 pounds. That goal, yes, you'll probably get it. But the second you get off that boat, it's coming back on. Or the second you get on the boat, right? Because there's so much food, it's going to come right back on. So you want to be honest with yourself and say, this is a lifetime plan, or this is a year plan, or this is a 6-month plan. After that, I'll stop and I'll reevaluate what I'm doing. And if I feel comfortable with how this is going right now, I'm just going to stay on this plan. It's not the end of the world, right? Changing your diet and your habits is not the end of the world. It's just hard to do in the moment. It gets easier as time goes on. So then you want to write down number 3, which is the how. How am I going to lose this weight? How is this going to happen? So, there's all kinds of information out there that you can access right now about diet and exercises and meal plans and menus and different things that you can do to speed your metabolism up, and things you can do in order to make the most of the time that you're exercising, etc. So you want to figure out what your plan is. And you want to be specific about it. So let's say you want to lose 20 pounds over the course of 3 months. I know personally, for myself and for many of my clients, if I do A, B, C, and D, I'll lose 2 pounds a week. That's the truth. Sometimes 3 pounds a week over the course of the first month and a half, 6 weeks. So you do the math. You want to lose 20 pounds, you're going to be into this for about 10 weeks. And you want to skew on the side of the lower range that you're going to lose instead of the highest range, so you're not disappointed. We talk about that a lot in behavior specialism there. You don't want to set yourself up for disappointment. So you always want to see yourself winning at the end of every week. So you're going to do about 10 weeks worth of a program that's specific to your weight loss goals. For me, I can go to a party on a weekend, have a margarita and a slice of cake or whatever, have some chips. And then, okay, so Monday, I weigh about 1.5 pounds more than I did Friday before. But I know if I take those things out and I just do my regular workout, drink plenty of water, I'll lose that 1.5 pounds probably in a day and a half. And it's just water, really, retention. It's all the inflammation that builds up from having too many carbohydrates and too much salt in your diet in the beginning. But I know that's not my habit. And this is the other piece I'm talking about when I talk about timeline. You're trying to create a new habit. You're not just trying to lose weight. You're trying to create a brand new habit that will be sustainable. Sustainable is the key here. That's going to be sustainable for you for the long term. So yeah, no, fasting is not a sustainable long-term solution. It's a quick fix to help you drop weight quickly, but it's not exactly healthy for some of us who have blood sugar issues, or feel like they are very heavily dependent on food for energy. That might not be the right choice for you. Some people are like Energizer bunnies. They don't need a lot to eat, and they can go. But you have to be very aware, again, of who you are and what you can and can't do. So the how is going to have to do a lot with what, like I said, you have in terms of sustainability. Then you're going to write this plan down. So let's say, just for argument's sake, that you've decided you're going to cut out all alcohol, all carbohydrates, salts, and most sugars, and keep some of the fats in there for the brain functioning, etc. And then you're going to start working out. So what's your plan? Are you going to work out at a heart rate range of, and this is the other piece of a great program, is I know my clients so well that I can tell if they're emotionally upset or compromised just by checking their heart rate every 2 minutes during the workout. So when they do a warm up on the elliptical and they're skyrocketing at 165, 170 for a 54-year-old woman, I know there's something else going on. It's just an elliptical workout, and they're not on level 10, they're on level 5 or 6. So I know something's going on. So I work with my people in terms of like their emotional status and their heart rate range, because that has a lot to do with how effectively their heart and their body is going to work for them in terms of burning calories and fat. So like I said, you have to know yourself pretty well. You want to work within heart rate ranges that are appropriate for you and your age and your gender. Remember, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Age, gender, height, they all have a lot to do with the appropriate heart rate training ranges, but also weight, appropriate weight for you. So then you want to write all those details down. I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a heart rate training range in the high 80 percentile. And the alternate days I'm going to walk, because you always want to give your heart an opportunity to be at different heart rate training ranges. And when I say training ranges, excuse me, I'm talking about the ranges that give you a dedicated period of time in that range. So when people say to me, oh, I played tennis, that's a good workout, right? It actually is not a great workout when you're trying to lose weight. You know why? Because it's not sustainable. There are short bursts of energy that you push through, and then you're standing and you're waiting again. That's not ideal. You want to be constantly moving, constantly moving, constantly moving. If you're a really good tennis player playing other good tennis players, that's a burn. That's a workout. But I haven't seen very many tennis players like that. So I don't know, maybe you are one. Excuse me. So you want to write everything down and drink your water. Hold on a second. Okay, I wish Love were here. She'd actually be able to take over while I choked to death. Anyway, after you create your plan and you write it all down, you're going to keep a piece of paper, a small card that has each step, what your goal is, how many pounds you're going to lose every week, and for how many weeks, with an end date. You're going to create your plan, write it all down, And repeat that plan to yourself every night before you go to bed and every morning when you wake up. Wow. Sorry about this. This is like highly unusual. So here are some other points. These are the 4 other points I want you to consider. Years ago, I wrote an article about the top 10 things you need to lose weight. And part of that included some of that self-analysis, some of that personality analysis, because if you're going to do your friend's program, you have to believe that you have to be very much alike in metabolism and personality, and in mindset. In every way, you have to be very, very much alike. That isn't always true, right? So one of the other things you want to consider is the season, right? And the reason why I'm talking to you about this particular topic right now is because you've had the spring, right? Usually that's a very popular time to attack a weight loss goal. Then the kids get out of school and you start to adapt to their schedule. And then, the Fruit Loops are on the table and you're nibbling on them. And then they're selling Girl Scout cookies and you're eating that. So if you have a plan in place already that you're committed to and you're reminding yourself about it every morning and every night, you're more likely to stick to that plan and not go for the Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mints or Samoas. Love them, not good for weight loss. The next thing you want to figure out, again, you're going to circle back to this point, the personality, over and over and over again, to evaluate and measure your menu against it, your diet choices, your supplement choices, and your exercise plan against it. So for instance, if your personality is one that thrives on group fitness, right? Like you just love the energy of a Zumba class. You can't wait to get into a spin class. There's just so much activity and socialization and information and interesting things that are going on. You love the teacher's personality. They tell jokes during the class. Those are things you want to pay attention to because that's the way you're going to sustain that. You'll go back to the fun thing. You won't go back to the thing that's boring and dry, right? So maybe watching videos at home for you is not the answer. But it might be the answer for someone who is into competing against themselves and no one else. If they want to feel like they're making progress, but don't necessarily need to show people, then doing videos at home or having a virtual personal training session with a one-on-one like myself might be for you. The other thing I find interesting is that there are a lot of gym incentives now that measure your heart rate against someone else's. You see that a lot in the spin classes. I know Orange Theory does that. You're seeing your calorie burn, your heart rate against other people's. So that's a real turn on for some people. They're very competitive. They enjoy that sort of atmosphere. That's what they thrive on. It pushes them. It makes them more motivated to do better and better and better. Try to get higher, higher, higher on that leaderboard, right? But what if you're not a truly competitive person? You don't like group fitness, but you do like the energy of a gym. What do you do then? Then you hire a personal trainer in the gym. You like the atmosphere, but you want the one-on-one. There's all different ways of handling these situations in your personality to make sure you get your sustainable program. The other thing I think is important, if you don't have the income, let's say, to sustain a personal trainer for an extended period of time, go with a friend. A lot of times they'll offer, group what are they called? Rates for personal training sessions. So you could take a friend, get a program written out for yourself in that 1 hour, and then you two repeat it together. So you've got to have a program, again, but you have the buddy system to support your efforts and network you into other maybe buddy programs if your friend isn't available. You always want to have that back support when you're working out and trying to lose weight so you don't backslide at all. The other thing you want to consider is the availability of resources. It's time, it's money, it's sometimes it's a sacrifice in terms of spending time with your kids, or you're leaving work early to make sure you get to this class or whatever it is. Be, I don't want to say considerate, but, kind of like keep those things in mind. This is going to cost me so much, doing it this way. But if I do it this way, it costs almost nothing and I can get it all done at once. I had a client that really wanted to get her workout in while she was with her kids. So I showed her a video I created an obstacle course in my backyard, and my kids and I did it, several times throughout the week together. We competed against each other. It was really fun. Or, find a trampoline park, go bounce together for an hour. That's a freaking workout. It's a great workout. So you want to figure out where the gyms are in your neighborhood, how much food sources there are. Like, I know a lot of stores now carry organic and regular produce. So you want to figure all those things out. Do you want organic foods? Do you want just the regular produce? Are you looking for specific types of grain-fed beef or specific type of antibiotic chickens, things like that? You want to figure out your resources and supplementation. Now, this is a big one. And I don't really like making blanket statements about supplementation, but I will say it's worth your while to get an assessment like I'm talking about. My assessments are 4-part, and we review supplementation because it can make or break your program, basically. I know a lot of people that make a big effort to lose weight, but they're not taking any multivitamins. They don't have the right combination of B vitamins or other nutrients. Sometimes their neurochemistry is off, so they're lacking dopamine, or maybe their cortisol's through the roof, or maybe their estrogen levels are plummeting. Whatever the case may be, it might be within your scope and realm. I know I did order a blood test for my own family for for high cholesterol levels or cholesterol levels. You can order these tests online and have things like your thyroid checked with a blood sample from a Quest or any local phlebotomist that's certified. Obviously can do it legally and send these samples into these websites that do test your blood for all of those metrics. They run the gamuts, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, oxytocin, endorphins. All of it can be tested online now. So it might be worth your while, if you're really stuck, to get some of those online test resources, and then get feedback from your general practitioner about how you can boost the levels that you're lowest on. Okay. But that's a really smart thing to do if you haven't lost weight in the past with your past history. The other piece of this is, if this is a program that, let's say, you're continuing your weight loss process from the spring. Okay, you're not going away until August. You have a couple of months. You want to lose a couple more pounds. You may want to think about changing everything up anyway, because doing the same thing over and over and over again isn't going to produce the same results after a bit of time. That's why when I was giving active and resting metabolic assessments at Lifetime Athletic in Harrison, New York, we would recommend that the people who were fanatic spinners take a step back. They don't need their heart rate up at 180, 170 every single day for an hour a day, every day of the week. They needed to give their heart rate some variability so that their body could work more effectively, more efficiently at the lower heart rate range, because that's where you burn a lot of fat. You don't burn a lot of fat in those higher heart rate ranges You burn them in the lower part. So, it's the Orange Theory and the spin classes that burn at really, really high heart rates. The theory is that, and that's why it's called Orange Theory, not Orange Fact. The theory is that you're boosting your heart rate so high that the rest of your metabolism is going to be really fast for the rest of the day, which is partially true depending upon who you are. But if you've been doing that same workout for a year, it's not going to work the same anymore. It's going to cease to be efficient because you're using the same heart rate training range over and over and over again. Our bodies really crave difference. They crave variety. Our bodies crave doing different things at different times of the day. So some people who I've had that run every single morning, 5 miles a day every morning, I've had them stop, take 2 days or 3 days out of that week and start walking at 6 o'clock at night. Why? Because that's what their heart rate needs to continue to lose weight. It doesn't need the same program because it's become so effective, so efficient, using the same muscles at the same time of day, at the same heart rate, that it ceases to be an effective fat burner. So those are the most important things I think everyone should take a look at when they're creating their own weight loss program. If you can't afford to do it with someone like myself, pay attention to all of those things. Be specific about your goal, when and how you're going to do that goal, how are you going to accomplish that goal. Pay attention to your personality and what you know you can and won't do. And then look for the resources that you know will support your goals and get you on board faster. And know if you need a tribe to work out with, if you're competitive, if you want a buddy, or if you want to work out by yourself. And then put that all into a package and write it down. Read it back to yourself every morning and every night. And I can promise you, if you do what I say, that you'll lose weight. Okay. Listen, if you have any questions or you feel like maybe you would like a full assessment by myself, like I said, I do a full metabolics assessment. I don't give blood panels. Believe me, I used to read them, but I don't give blood panels. It's not what I'm equipped to do, but I do give a personality, a schema questionnaire, a fitness and healthy weight questionnaire, as well as the psychic reading that I give, the mind body psychic reading. So all of those metrics really create for a very highly specific program. And then you get the package when I'm done. I email it to you, all that information, along with the overview and recommendations that you can create your own then after that. So if you have any questions about that, that package or that program, feel free to email me. I'm going to put up my website here, and enjoy and love your mind and body. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.